Well, let's go ahead and do it. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, up and live. Sorry about the stream for the first Descendant, but that didn't work out because the Xbox servers went down, and according to my sister, they just went up recently. And if you're wondering what this is, I had some soup for dinner. I don't know if that got caught in the beginning of this introductory part of the stream, but hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a live review for Acolyte. Episode 6 was a very dull, boring episode. Nothing happened. Nothing at all happened. It was a nothing burger. It was just filler content, the stuff you don't even fucking need. And yeah, it's just pointless. Honestly. I was going to go ahead and take some notes, but as you can see here, without giving away, I didn't even get a whole page of notes. And normally, I do. So I'm going to wait a little bit, let some people pop in, suck down some of the soup. With some sausage gumbo, minus the sausage, because in these canned soups, they like to put like 3 pieces of meat and a shit ton of salt. So that's what the water's for. And yeah, I'm going to do this one kind of solo. Because before I had episodes 1 through 5 to talk to my brother about. So my plan is to do another one of these when the Acolyte's over. So that should be 2 weeks from today. And then we can kind of go through all of it. And then I'm hoping that whenever I get to where I'm moving to, which is where he's located, we can go ahead and have him sit down and watch the whole thing, and maybe do a whole live stream reaction from his perspective of watching it himself. So we'll see what we can do there. So I'm going to keep waiting just a little bit, see if I can get some folks to pop in, get some comments rolling. Screw it, we'll get right into it. So this is episode 6 of 8. So before I get into the nitpicks, first of all, though, before I get into that, I just want to say thank you to Leslye. This one wasn't as lore breaking or, fan love breaking, whatever you want to call it, as previous episodes in the show. So I'll give you props for that one. There was some things in here that happened, obviously, that's going to piss off people. I didn't get angry at this one or upset with this one, simply for the fact that they didn't do a whole lot of the damage that they've done to Star Wars lore previously in the previous 5 episodes. So on that note, it wasn't as good as 5. And again, 5 was good, but once you polish a turd, it's still a turd. So this one wasn't as bad as the other 4, but it wasn't good. We had 40 minutes of filler content, which is stupid because we're on episode 6 of 8. So unless the last 2 episodes are like an hour each, it was pointless. There was no reason for all this filler. So I guess we can go with the first tidbit. So it starts, and spoilers, by the way. I'm gonna take a couple more bites of my soup. If you're not into spoilers, that'll give you time to click off. All right, that was enough time for you to click off if you don't want spoilers. So, she wakes up, this being Osha, because she's being held by the Sith guy. And she's laying on the table. And she sits up and she checks her side, because her side got hurt. Remember, at the end of 5, he force healed it. And I guess force healing doesn't work like it did in Rise of Skywalker. That or because the force is female, Rey was able to do it better than Smilo Ren was able to. But she's got a bandage on. There's some blood on it. So that right there doesn't hold up the Disney continuity, because when Rey, was that a big worm or a snake, if I recall correctly, on the desert planet in the beginning with Poe and Finn that attacked them? She ended up healing it, and then it was perfectly fine. Like, it just slithered off the wound. So they can't even keep that upright. And then the part that she has no idea where she is, right? Okay, so the last thing she remembers is she gets in a fight with her sister. She gets pushed, hits her head on a rock, lights out, wakes up in this strange place. And she goes up to a canteen, takes it, sniffs it, and then just drinks it. Now, I get if you're thirsty, you're gonna probably drink the first thing you see, but you have no clue where you are. You don't know who you're with. And you're just gonna pick up a random canteen and drink from it. Poisoned. All kinds of things can happen with it. I mean, there's so many reasons why that's such a red flag. Just off the rap. And then we kind of get a shot a little bit further in of Leslye Headland's wife, who plays the green makeup, the bald Jedi Master, having this hologram meeting with a senator, and it shows that she's clearly dived into the politics, which the Jedi were not supposed to be a part of. The Jedi were just kind of, they kind of became peace officers in a way. That's why we had Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan going to check on the Trade Federation's blockade of Naboo in Phantom Menace. So this goes to show that the Jedi Master is a little bit corrupt. Because if you go into politics, there's a little bit of corruption involved no matter who you are, realistically speaking, unless you really got your head on your shoulders instead of a little bit up your ass or fully up your ass. So we get to see that. And as far as I remember, with George Lucas's Star Wars, they didn't get politically involved necessarily until Clone Wars. But even then, the Jedi acted primarily as generals instead of politicians. Let's see, we got a quote. So she has him pretty much dead to rights. He goes and he takes a bath. We almost have our first bit of Star Wars nudity. And he gets out, and she has the lightsaber on him, like holding it right here. Like, here's where the blade would come out of, and this is his chest. Like, she's got him dead to rights. Unless, of course, he used the Force to keep the blade in the hilt, but whatever. And he says the Jedi don't... Or no, she says the Jedi don't attack the unarmed. You're not a Jedi. You left before you became a Jedi. That was the whole point of this, is you left, and you got framed, and you were never a Jedi. Never. You left before the training was complete. At least that's what they've set up so far. Now, there were hints that the Sith guy made of that not being the case, that she was actually thrown away like he was, but the Sith lie to control people, so who knows to what degree that's actually accurate. Then the Smilo Ren says, when you lose everything, that's when you are finally free. Tell that to Darth Vader. Anakin Skywalker. He lost his wife, to his knowledge, for a long time. He lost his 2 kids. He lost his master, who was like a father to him. According to him, was betrayed by his master, who was like a father to him. And then at the beginning, before he even trusted Palpatine, his mentor, someone he trusted, was a traitor, and he went and even turned him in until he realized, or was manipulated to believe, that Palpatine was the only one who could save Padme from her death, which he foresaw at the beginning of Revenge of the Sith with the dream, or the premonition, if you want to call it that. So, and then we get about, I don't know, halfway, quarter way through, and she's sitting there with a bowl of food. Osha, that is. Smiler Ren's fixing his helmet, and he makes a comment about her trying on the helmet, and she's like, "Well, I don't trust you." She drank the water straight from the fucking canteen without knowing where she was. She's eating the food he prepared. She had him dead to rights with the lightsaber. And she's sitting there listening to the stuff he's talking about, like how the Jedi lied to you, the Jedi betrayed you, and I couldn't get anywhere with May. I thought May wanted the same thing I wanted. And then he quoted the Sith thing, the power of two, instead of her just wanting revenge. So, if you don't trust somebody, are you really going to do... I mean, she doesn't necessarily have a whole lot of options. She's got a ship she could hop on that he even told her about, but that could be booby-trapped, who knows, and he's got the way to fix it before he uses the ship, who knows. Let's see... And near the end of the episode, this is going to be a short stream, because again, there wasn't a whole lot to talk about, because it was a real nothing burger of an episode. The Leslye Headland's wife, Jedi Master, I forgot her name, that's why I'm describing her that way, the green one that's bald, uses a purple lightsaber whip. Now, I know the lightsaber whip was a thing. I believe it was in a comic book. I don't know if it was in a novel. I believe the lightsaber whip was in a comic book. And she uses it to kill a bug. But the thing about it is, purple was specifically done for Samuel Jackson. Samuel Jackson asked George Lucas to be able to use a purple lightsaber so he could find himself in the fight in the Geonosis arena. And it even took some doing. There's a video out there of Samuel Jackson trying to convince George Lucas to give him a purple lightsaber. And then, of course, there's the lore that on the bottom of the purple lightsaber was, motherfucker, because, Samuel Jackson kind of likes that word. So, to see something that was supposed to be as exclusive as to only for Mace, just readily used, and a whip, I would like to add. I don't necessarily stand behind that. It's an odd choice. And ladies and gentlemen, that's pretty much it. This was a whole nothing burger. Nothing really lore breaking happened other than Soul kind of having feelings for May, or Osha, I mean, and May, I guess, in this episode. And they don't really explain to what kind of relationship, because it's also teased with, Smiler Ren, that he's talking to Osha about her having feelings for Master Soul. And then potentially having feelings for her sister. And he's like, oh, it's interesting that you asked about Master Soul before you asked about your sister. And then he deduces that she's got a father figure relationship or whatever with Master Soul. Or not. Realistically speaking, that was the first male really she'd met when she was younger. And teenagers develop this kind of love attachment to like she was a kid, then she was a teenager. This was the dude she spent the most time with, the one who trained her, the one who's there through her ups and her downs. So who knows to what extent this relationship actually is trying to be, because they don't even specify. They leave it open-ended to where that could be a possibility, or could have been a possibility. I'm not making that up by myself. They literally leave it that open and bland, and they don't word it properly to determine whether it is a father-daughter relationship type thing or something else. And that's pretty much it, ladies and gentlemen. There's no action, nothing happened in this episode. Again, it was just boring and bland. So I'm actually going to end the stream here, because there's nothing to talk about, nothing to discuss. That's another reason why I didn't have my brother on, is because I kind of had the feeling that this wasn't going to be anything good. This wasn't going to be anything to discuss, because a lot of the episodes have been. And by a lot of them, I mean 5 out of 6. Literally, the last episode, episode 5. There wasn't all this cringy dialogue, and this dialogue was pretty cringy. Whoever is doing the writing at Leslye Headland needs to go back to school to learn how to do all this shit again. But one episode that was bearable out of 6 so far, and there's only 8. You're still failing Acolyte. This one, again, nothing happened, but it wasn't anything good, so it's still boring. We only have 2 episodes left. Ladies and gentlemen, do you think that the Acolyte has any grounds to stand on going forward? Let me know down in the comments below.